That beautiful blue sailboat right there just popped in a few days ago. That's Vanishing Point. My friends Chris and Carmen from Flight Level 0 fame. Now they're anxious to get out to the island after doing their trial run, sea trial from Ensenada up after getting her painted. It's Saturday, October 25th. So last night we swapped out the raw water impeller that had some water, salt water coming out of one of the weep holes. There's a little bit of salt residue on the pump, which means it's time for a rebuild, and that's after about 1,400 hours. This is my raw water pump. You can see there's a bunch of salt buildup, and then this black stuff is just dust from some disintegrating insulation. But this is my raw water pump. Pumps seawater through the heat exchanger to cool off the engine, and it needs to be rebuilt. So need some new seals and stuff. So just pull this off the engine and we're going to replace it with this baby right here. Look at that. Beauty. Pumping good. So it's a little dreary today. There's not much wind, just a couple of knots true, so we're likely going to be motoring. First thing we're going to do is fill up at Jankovich fuel dock. So we've motored, since we filled up last time, I'd say about 60 hours roughly, 60, 62 hours. That's from here to Ensenada and back. I'd say roughly about 62 hours. I've got 90 gallons in the tank, so I'm expecting we're probably about 40 gallons down, 45 gallons down, I'm gonna call it. It's coming back up from Ensenada as we were coming into San Diego. As I'm trying to take the autopilot off, this Morse cable, you pull it up, that engages a RAM drive on the quadrant for autopilot, so it's a mechanical link. And there's also a switch on there that tells the autopilot that the mechanical link has been made. And we couldn't disengage that. And then, so I had to steer in with the autopilot turned off with all the extra friction from the RAM drive still being connected while we pulled into the dock. And then I was able to kind of hammer it down to get the to get it to disengage, and then I couldn't pull it back to engage. What happened was 12,000 miles of sailing last year and get a lot of waves that kind of come into the cockpit. And actually this stupid cushion right here is a wave deflector. I need a more proper shield or something, some plexiglass or something. But we would take waves into the cockpit, and we'd get all kinds of salt water, so that's why that got fouled up. But that's been replaced. And then last night with changing the raw water pump, and then I swapped it out completely. I'll rebuild the other one as a spare, but pump seems to work better for whatever reason. It races like a piss horse. Or I should say it pisses like a racehorse. Seems to be working well. We're gonna give it a few hours run today, so we'll see how it stands up. Check that out, Altasea. So those are use the power of the waves to generate electricity here in the harbor. I question whether they'd be a little bit better off being out to sea. We took on 54.5 gallons of diesel, so that's Ensenada and back. Usually I plan for at my full cruising RPMs, which is faster than we did when we were offshore. We cruise at about 2,200 RPMs. Offshore it was like more 1,800. So it's 1,700 or 1,800 half gallon an hour, pretty predictable. That was pretty much dialed into the spot for our cruising. 0.79 gallons an hour is typically where I'm at. That can range a little higher, closer to a gallon. So I just rounded out to a gallon an hour and get fuel. We've got some dolphins up here jumping out of the water straight ahead. They're at a little bit of a distance. We'll see if we get in close. Didn't look like they were coming this way. We can see the outline of the island from here. We still have about 16.5 nautical miles before we get to the other side. Not too much in terms of shipping traffic. I can see the Catalina provider, which supplies the island, and then over to port a little bit further out is an Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer, and they turned a little bit, so they're not going to get too close. Check this out. Finally got some company here. Got a good view of the island from here. So while it's dreary, it's cleared up a bit. Here's the Catalina provider over to port. Arleigh Burke class destroyer in the distance.
Mounted area during operation. Break.
Got one ship of concern coming through the shipping lanes. Won't show up, but it's the C-SPAN Humbird. About 7 nautical miles away, and at about 40 minutes they'll be at their closest point to us, TCPA, and their closest point of approach is going to be about a mile to a mile and a half. They're going to cut in behind us. One, I know they're going to Long Beach, but two, I've been watching their bearing, and since I started watching, we saw their bearing at 275. Now their bearing is at 277, so they're clocking around this way. They're turning a little bit into port, or they will be, and we're headed kind of perpendicular to them mostly. So we'll they'll be a couple miles behind us, so I don't see any need at this point to hail them on the radio. Usually when I get within a couple of miles, I'll hail the ships and let them know I'm here, make sure they see me.
The message, small craft adopting National Weather Service, Los Angeles / Oxnard, California, 8:24 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Saturday, October 25th, 2025. Point via to point south from 10 to 16 nautical miles. Small craft advisory remains in effect until 3 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Monday. Conditions will be hazardous. Small craft inexperienced mariners, especially those operating smaller vessels, should avoid navigating in hazardous conditions.
Nothing for Catalina Island. We're clear. We're not going to get much wind. There's a belt of wind that kind of comes this coastal downflow, and it's usually on the other side of Catalina Island. And it kind of starts like right along Santa Barbara Island, which is another 20 or so miles to the west of Catalina Island. Sailing vessel stoked, sailing vessel stoked, sailing vessel stoked. This is Keeldragger, 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 hailing you on 1-6. We'll see if he has his ears on.
Keeldragger, this is sailing vessel stoked. You want to switch to 6-9er?
6-9er.
Keeldragger, come in, this is stoked.
Hey, are you, looks like you're just getting kind of close to Long Point there, over. Stoked, this is Keeldragger, you copy?
Keeldragger, you there? This is Stoked, over.
Yeah, I've got a good copy on you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I got dual watch on, and it prioritized 16 with the Coast Guard sector announcement, over.
Yeah, roger that. So, looks like you're just coming up on Long Point, over.
You're breaking up a little bit. What'd you say? Over.
Looks like you're just coming up on Long Point.
I turned off the dual watch. Sorry about that. Over.
Yeah, I've got a good copy on you. Looks like you're just coming up on Long Point.
Your signal's pretty weak. You're breaking up pretty bad. I'm heading to Avalon if you can hear that. Over.
Yep, I've got a good copy on you, Avalon. I'm headed to White Cove.
Keeldragger, this is sailing vessel EWR. If he can't hear you, I can hear both of you clearly. I can relay. Over.
Yeah, EWR, I've got a really good copy on you as well.
I watch you guys all the time on YouTube, by the way. I'm a big fan.
Right on. Where are you at right now?
So we looking at a small craft advisory for San Pedro Channel today. Over.
I didn't hear a small craft advisory for San Pedro area. What I heard was all up further north.
Okay, we're heading back to San Diego from Two Harbors, so I think we'll be fine. And I'll let you guys get back to your conversation, but you guys have given me a lot of enjoyment. I loved your Pacific cruise, and hope to see you and maybe meet you someday. Over.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. I'll be here on 16 and 69.
Down in Wilmington, and I just wanted to say congratulations for making that trip, man. Flew to French Falls, and it was so impressive. You should be proud of yourself, man.
Thanks, I really appreciate that. It was quite the adventure, and I was really happy to complete it successfully and get back here. So I'm glad everything worked out. Over.
Yeah, I've got a little Catalina too. I'm already go to Catalina. It's a mini adventure, smaller boat. What you did was inspiring. Thank you, man. Little Blue out.
All right, Little Boo. Thanks for the shout out. Keeldragger back to 16. Got our buddy Ron on motor sailing vessel Reina inbound to White Cove. He's going to beat us, but our CPA is about a mile, so we're actually not too far behind him. I'm keen to avoid the costs of picking up a mooring ball this weekend, and I wouldn't mind just kind of a quiet night on the hook here at White Cove. It's been a year, maybe a little over a year at this point since I've been at White Cove. It's been quite a while. My only trip to Catalina was on the tail end of concluding the Great Pacific Adventure coming back from Hawaii, which was about 2 months ago. So I've been into the island in a couple of months, and I've had Keeldragger mostly on the hard for a good part of the, for about 5 weeks or so, whatever, in Ensenada. And I'm just really thankful to be back on the water and back prowling my home waters here at Catalina. We're getting in pretty close to the island, and there's a little bit of sun poking out, sort of. So we're gonna come in and we'll probably anchor over on the Hen Rock side. As we get in a little bit closer, we'll figure out exactly where we want to park. We're here at Hen Rock White Cove complex. Got the moorings in front of us. I'm going to spin her around and see if I can drop anchor in 60 to 70 feet, or no more than 80. So somewhere in that range, we'll see what we get. I don't want to get too close to the moorings. We will turn around. Got to unhook my anchor. Make sure that it's free-ish. Look at this. 41.4 feet. Not too bad. We've got a little over 200 feet of chain out. So a little over 5 to 1, or maybe just right on 5 to 1. Here's Ron on motor sailing vessel Reina. Yo, yo! Reina. So we're all on the hook. How much water are you in?
55 feet.
55? Not bad. I'm at 41. That's good. 1:30 p.m. You know what time it is? It's captain's hour. Sorry, I already cracked it. Cheers, everybody. Pretty chill here at Hen Rock White Cove complex, like really chill. Boat's barely moving and we're in 41, 42 feet of water. Fairly close to the moorings, but we're far enough away. Good spot. We've got motor sailing vessel Reina a couple hundred yards away, less than that maybe. Pretty close. So he's hanging out. I gotta get the dinghy commissioned, so we're both just hanging out on our respective boats. Motor sailing vessel Reina on the hook. White Cove. Good morning. Just about 0500 and having my coffee, and then we're gonna get underway. So we'll get underway while it's dark. Haul up the anchor in just a bit, and then we'll start moving. First, I'll get the engine started and let that warm up while we're hauling anchor, and then we'll haul ass. You hear the fish jumping, I can't really see them. Adios, White Cove, adios. Keeldragger is off and up out. It's just before 5:30. We've got the radar going, and we've got good, won't show up on the camera well, but we've got good visibility on the water. I can see some cloud cover, but good visibility on the water, so we won't have any problems seeing anything once it gets light out at least. So one of the things I do when I'm on watch, if I'm wide awake, but I try and do cycle through the gauges about every 15 minutes when I'm on watch. So I'll take a look at my RPMs, my oil pressure, my water temperature, and I'll watch this volts. Now the volts are on my starting battery, so it doesn't really tell me exactly what's going on with the charging situation with the house bank or anything like that. But what I will do periodically is I'll go down and I'll actually look at the shunt, the battery monitor that I have, to see what kind of power is going into the house bank. I do have a Victron battery monitor on the house bank, so I can look at voltage. What I'd really like to do is get a couple of Victron shunts, one for the house bank and one for the starting, so I can see when everything's cycling on and off. But I went down to look at the battery monitor for the house bank just to see how things were going with my charge state on the house bank, and when I came back up I saw I was 40 degrees off course. The autopilot went into standby without any beeps or alarms or anything like that. So so I monitor my heading pretty closely as well, and I'm like, what the hell? It would have been easy, you know, if somebody was asleep at the wheel, they could have gone way off course. We're about a little under 7 nautical miles from Angel's Gate, so if somebody wasn't paying attention as we were closing in, we could have been in a bad spot eventually. All right, we're coming in. It's about 8:30 a.m. and if we look to port, you can see a bunch of lobster pots over there. Angel's Gate. Yeah. Amazingly, they didn't litter the entrance to LA Harbor with lobster pots, so that's kind of a nice surprise. There's a ton of them turning to starboard. This motor yacht just went through that minefield. Yeah, it looks like they went around most of them. Hey everybody, make sure to check out the Keeldragger Predict Wind Tracker page. You can follow us in real time, and if you see us out there, make sure to give us a shout out. I put a link on the description of the video as well as on the screen. Also want to invite you, if you haven't already signed up, subscribe to the Keeldragger Substack blog, where I'll be making regular blog entries in addition to the YouTube content. Hit the link and subscribe to Substack, and we'll see you over there as well.